Welcome to Scoreflow. Chelsea's 24-25 was chaos sharpened into purpose, derbies at boiling point, a 15-game scoring streak, and European nights swelling toward a stage big enough to redefine their season. A tough curtain raiser saw Chelsea beaten by Manchester City, a 2-0 reverse at Stamford Bridge as Haaland struck early and Kovacic late to open the campaign with a sharp reminder of the standard. Europe offered a change of scenery as a composed 2-0 first-leg win over Servette via Nkunku's penalty and Noni Madueke settled Stamford Bridge on the season's first European night. Even after the European lift, Chelsea recalibrated on their travels, hitting Wolves for 6 in a measured 6-2 at Molineux, with Madueke's hat-trick the headline. Attention swung to Geneva, where Nkunku's early penalty couldn't prevent a 2-1 loss to Servette, but the job was done and the league stage secured. In the league again, Jackson's strike was answered by Eze as Crystal Palace shared a 1-1 at Stamford Bridge to steady the week. On the south coast, Chelsea edged Bournemouth 1-0, courtesy of Nkunku's late winner after a missed penalty. Momentum carried into the London Stadium as Jackson's brace and a Palmer finish delivered a controlled 3-0 over West Ham. Cup duties at the Bridge brought a 5-0 over Barrow, and Nkunku's hat-trick and an own goal easing Chelsea into the round of 16. Back to league rhythms, Palmer's first-hard hat-trick powered a 4-2 turnaround against Brighton in a lively Stamford Bridge contest. European lights back on at the Bridge. Dewsbury Hall's second-half strike settled a 4-2 over Ghent despite a late reply. After the midweek surge, Forest held Chelsea to 1-1, Madueke cancelling out Wood in a measured league outing. At Anfield, a tight one tilted Liverpool's way, 2-1, despite Jackson levelling right after the break. In Athens, João Felix struck twice as Chelsea eased to a 4-1 against Panathinaikos on a composed European night. Back at the Bridge, Chelsea managed the come-down with a tidy 2-1 over Newcastle through Jackson and Palmer. Cup night on Tyneside ended 2-0 to Newcastle, Isak and a deflection off Disasi sending Chelsea out in the round of 16. Old Trafford witnessed a 1-1, Caicedo cancelling out Bruno Fernandes' penalty in a controlled display against Manchester United. A rousing European rout at Stamford Bridge finished 8-0 against Noah, João Felix at the double and Nkunku's brace lifting his tallies as top spot looked assured. Against Arsenal, Pedro Neto extended the league scoring streak in a 1-1 that kept the top 4 push on course. On the road at the King Power, Fernandes' late strike made it 2-1 after Jackson's opener and a stoppage time scare. European business in Germany was handled professionally, Nkunku and Mudryk sealing a 2-0 at Heidenheim. Any midweek glow was channeled efficiently as Chelsea eased past Aston Villa 3-0 at the Bridge. Form travelled well to St Mary's, a 5-1 cruise with 5 different scorers stretching the stride. In a breathless derby swing, Palmer's double helped flip Tottenham in a 4-3 thriller, the streak stretching to 14 straight league games with a goal. Europe again, and Mark Gaius's brace in a 3-1 at Astana made it 5 straight Conference League wins. Back at Stamford Bridge, Chelsea edged Brentford 2-1, with Jackson deciding it late to keep the league scoring run at 15. League stage business ended in style, Mark Guius' hat-trick headlining a 5-1 over Shamrock Rovers as top spot and progression were rubber-stamped. Goodison offered few openings, a 0-0 that paused the momentum after the European high. Back at Stamford Bridge, Palmer's opener wasn't enough as Fulham struck late for a 2-1 upset. Chasing a response at Portman Road, Chelsea were picked off 2-0 by Ipswich, deepening the wobble. At Selhurst Park, Palmer's early goal steadied the slide before Mateta earned Palace a 1-1. FA Cup third-round duty brought a clean 5-0 over Morecambe at the Bridge. Adarabioyo and João Felix both at the double as Chelsea moved on despite a missed pen. League focus resumed with a 2-2 against Bournemouth, James rescuing it late after Palmer's early strike. Without fuss, Chelsea pushed past Wolves 3-1, Adarabioyo, Cucurella and Madueke on the sheet to recalibrate the league push. Hopes of building form met a hard check at the Etihad. An early Madueke strike overturned as City ran out 3-1. A needed response saw West Ham turned over 2-1 at the Bridge, Pedro Neto cancelling Bowen before an own goal made the difference. FA Cup fourth-round progress slipped away at Brighton, where an early own goal was overturned in a 2-1 exit. Back to the league. Brighton handed out a bruising 3-0 as Minte's brace underlined a damaging night. Seeking a lift at Villa Park, Fernandez's early opener gave way to a 2-1 defeat decided late by Marco Asensio's second. The Bridge provided release, a 4-0 sweep of Southampton with 4 different scorers resetting the mood. In Copenhagen, Chelsea took a 2-1 first-leg lead through James and Fernandes, setting the tie on their terms. Back home, patience paid as Marc Cucurella's strike secured a 1-0 over Leicester after a missed spot kick. European nights stayed controlled, Dewsbury Hall's winner sealing a 1-0 and the quarter-final place against Copenhagen. At the Emirates, a tight contest slipped 1-0 to Arsenal, halting the domestic rhythm after European progress. Derby nerve held at Stamford Bridge as Fernandes struck for a 1-0 over Tottenham to bounce straight back. The trip to Brentford yielded a 0-0 stalemate, the intensity of the Derby win hard to recreate on the road. Quarter-final first-leg control in Warsaw brought a 3-0 cushion, Noni Madueke's brace arriving despite an earlier missed penalty. Returning to the Bridge, an Ipswich own goal and a Sancho leveller made it 2-2 after falling 2 behind. The second leg asked for composure, and despite a 2-1 defeat to Legia, the aggregate held to book a semi-final place. Craven Cottage drama swung late, George and Pedro Neto turning it for a 2-1 comeback. Momentum continued with Jackson's strike deciding a 1-0 against Everton at the Bridge. In Stockholm, a commanding semi-final first leg finished 4-1 over Djurgårdens, Jackson at the double as the European scoring streak hit 13. Liverpool beaten 3-1 at the Bridge, Fernandes striking early, a Kwanzaa own goal helping, and Palmer's late penalty sealing a statement. Stamford Bridge sealed the deal, Dewsbury Hall's first half finish making it 1-0 on the night and sending Chelsea to the final. Tyneside proved awkward, a 2-0 defeat to Newcastle punctuated by a stoppage time second. A tight tussle with Manchester United swung Chelsea's way, Marc Cucurella clinching a 1-0 at the Bridge. At the City Ground, Colwill's winner made it 1-0 and locked in Champions League football. On neutral ground, Chelsea roared back to beat Real Betis 4-1, Fernandes sparking the surge before Jackson, Sancho and Caicedo delivered a trophy night to close the season. It began with a 2-0 jolt from Manchester City. Then Chelsea fought fire with fire, flipping Tottenham 4-3 and later flooring Liverpool 3-1, only for a bruising 3-0 at Brighton to bear the seams. When league form staggered, Europe became the release, and after Colwell's 1-0 at the City Ground secured Champions League football, they strode onto neutral turf and put Real Betis away 4-1 to lift the Conference League, a season not just survived but seized. Thanks for watching Scoreflow. If you enjoyed the journey, please like, share and subscribe.